are legends because it's cold and it's rainy, but you are the hardcore group that still shows up. So I bow to you all. Thank you for making it to Creative Mornings. My name is Tina. I'm the founder of Creative Mornings and the New York City chapter host. And I want to welcome you all here in the space, but also everybody who's in the live stream. And I'm welcoming you today on the ancestral land of the Lenape people. And we here at HQ recognize the significance of Brooklyn and New York City for Lenape people past and present. What an absolute joy to be back at L'Alliance. They so generously agreed to hosting us 3 times this year. This is our 3rd time. And we love being here, let me tell you. And in case you're new to this space and you're not familiar with L'Alliance, it is a highly respected educational, cultural, and arts institution where you can immerse yourself in French language classes and world-class cultural programming. From film to visual arts to performing arts to kids programming, L'Alliance offers it all, and I highly recommend you check out their website for the calendar, the upcoming calendar of events. And if you are a fan of animation, do we have any fans of animation here? I see some are. You might want to bookmark January 21st to 26th. I know we're only in November, but man, New Yorkers are so busy. Just lock it down because L'Alliance is hosting the only USA-based animation festival dedicated to showcasing the legacy and innovation of French and Francophone animation. And in case you are an event organizer like me, I want you to know that you can rent this theater and many more spaces of different sizes in the floors above us, which you can check out on their website. So thank you for hosting us, Team Alliance. We love you. And I want to give a shout out to the AV team here. They're incredible. And there's so many of them. So thank you all. So the OGs of you are probably wondering, something's different. Why is Tina starting and not a musician? Well, we're doing a little bit of an experiment today, because we're doing something a little unusual. We are merging the Manifesto with music, and all of that thanks to a wonderful community member called Gary. He's offered to do a bit of an experiment. Gary is an accomplished composer, performer, producer, and instructor, and fun fact, he has hosted 4 virtual field trips related to music that were a big hit. Did anyone of you by any chance attend one of them? No? Okay, that would have been so cool. Anyway, Gary is sort of the manifestation of why Creative Mornings is what it is. People like Gary that so generously contribute to Creative Mornings and to the community. So please give a rock star round of applause for Gary.
Oh my gosh, thank you everybody. Thank you, Tina. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a lot of uncertainty these days. Yeah, and there are a couple things, though, that I am certain of, is that we as artists now need to gather, and here we are doing this. Beautiful. And the other thing we need to do is to share our voices. And so I invite you, as you are willing and able, to please stand. Yeah. All right, so I know some of us in this room may identify as singers, and some of us may identify as non-singers. And I invite us to come together for a nonpartisan experiment in which we are going to sing part of this beautiful manifesto we have here. All right, we got some sound. I needed a little bit of punk energy. I really play piano, but we needed a little bit of this. Okay, so we're going to teach you the end first. Everyone is welcome. Can you see that down there? It sounds like this. Everyone is welcome. Sing it. Everyone is... Oh, that was great. Okay. Now, maybe you can embody it even more, enjoy it a little bit. 1, 2, 3, go. Everyone is welcome. One more time. Awesome. You're doing great. Now put that in your pocket. We're going to hold that to the end, and we're going to sing the very beginning. Everyone is creative. Almost the same melody. Everyone is creative. Now you. Everyone creative. Good, you can do harmony. Everyone is creative. Or let's sing the melody again. Everyone. Yeah, one more time. Good, now this isn't all about me. It's about you. So you know the words, and you're in your bodies. You're singing it the way that feels right to you to sing, and you're with all these other people. So feel free to look around the room or even just catch a glance at your neighbor as you're singing. So, yeah, we're alive here together. It's pretty amazing. And what we'll do is we'll start off, we'll sing Everyone is Creative 4 times, and then I'll sing the next little paragraph, and then you'll sing Everyone is Creative 4 times. You'll sing it after each of these little paragraphs, right? You'll come in, and I'll cue you. And at the very end, I'll cue you when it's time to change over to Everyone is Welcome. Here we go. Now, everyone is creative. Oh, yeah. Keep going. Harmonies? Do we have harmonies? Everyone is creative. Maybe one more time. Everyone is creative. Nice. A creative life requires bravery and action, honesty and hard work. We are here to support you, celebrate with you, and encourage you to make the things you love. Everybody, go. Everyone is creative. Get creative with it. I don't know. All right, bring it. One more time. Everyone is creative. We believe in the power of community. We believe in giving a damn. We believe in face-to-face connections, in learning from others, in hugs and high fives. Go! Everyone is creative. All right. Yeah. Everyone is creative. 2 more times. Everyone is creative. All right. We bring together people who are driven by passion and purpose. Talking about you. Confident that they will inspire one another and inspire change in neighborhoods and cities around the world. Everyone is creative. Go! Everyone is creative. Listen to yourselves. Everyone. Awesome. Everyone is welcome. Everyone is welcome. Everyone is welcome. 2 more times. Last time. Awesome. Thank you.
How cool are you, Gary? Thank you. Let's give him another round of applause. That was so brave. Thank you all for singing early in the morning. All right, who of you put your name in the 30-second pitch wheel? Woo, so many of you. Exa, tell us who's going to come up after Ren's talk and pitch for 30 seconds.
Yes, we have so many friends today. Okay, I apologize if I am not reading your name right, but we have Christine Wong, or Christine, Courtney, Courtnay, Daryl Thorne, or Darrell Thorne, and Emily Cherto. And please, when after the talk, find me down here. We'll come through that way. Cool? Amazing.
Thank you, Exa. By raise of hands, who is here for the first time? Oh, so many of you. I will literally give you a hug after the event, just to show you how welcome you are. So those of you who are here for the first time, you might wonder, what's the map with the dots? Well, each one of these dots represents a Creative Mornings chapter in another city that is run by volunteers, where they gather the local creative community for free, like we do here in New York. But we are a bit of an unusual chapter here in New York, because we are here in New York, we run the local chapter, but we also run HQ. We're 9 people at HQ, and that means we make sure that the website is up and running, the chapters have what they need, and we also at HQ run virtual field trips, which is the online learning platform, and we run the clubs. So all of that is for free all around the world, and the reason why I'm able to run an HQ and have staff is because we have really generous sponsors. We call them partners here at Creative Mornings. And I have some really exciting news to share, because earlier this month, Adobe joined as a global partner of Creative Mornings. They recognize the impact that Creative Mornings is having on the global ecosystem of creativity, and they are committed to reaffirm their support of creatives all over the world. This is really, really big, and I didn't realize how big of a deal it was for them until I traveled to Adobe Max, that is their creativity conference, a few weeks ago, for the big announcement on their keynote stages. And the first morning, there it was, and there were like 1,000 screens everywhere, and Adobe Creative Mornings was everywhere in a sea of 11,000 people, and I gasped. And because we got not only announced once on that first keynote morning, but also on the next day, I was invited on stage with Scott Belsky. And just wait until this goes to the right, because there's like a sea of humans. We're so small, Scott Belsky, now, you can't even see us. And I'm just showing this. And for those of you, just to put in context, like, I didn't realize this until I was there, but these keynotes for Adobe are the most important announcements that they have all year. So the fact that they announced us twice and gave us so much stage time was really, really meaningful, and it's really a sign how deeply Adobe actually cares about our community and about us meeting up and about us having conversations around the ever-changing industry, and they really care about us thriving through all the change that is happening. So this year-long partnership is a massive head nod and approval for a grassroots organization like ourselves. And it's a clear reflection of all of you, all the love that you bring to Creative Mornings. So I want to thank you, and I want to thank Adobe. All right. Are you glad we welcomed you with coffee when you arrived this morning? So Adobe is our global partner. But then we have amazing local partners that help cover cost for the actual events, like coffee and breakfast. So let's go and thank them, will we? So MPB, our beloved local partner, who here has photo gear that is sitting in your drawer that you might want to release and set free? I do? Yeah. Or are you dreaming of a new camera? So MPB makes it super easy to give your unused gear a new life. And they care deeply about storytelling in a way that's good for people and the planet. And they resell more than 500,000 used camera gear every year, which I find incredibly impressive. And my new thing now is every night when I prepare these slides, I look at the recently uploaded section, and then I could totally see myself sport this camera and walk around with it. So this Fujifilm caught my heart last night. So thank you, MPB, for supporting us. We love you so much. And then I want to thank Harvest, our longstanding local partner as well. They're just like us, a New York City-based company. And as a lover of quotes, I always think of Harvest when I find a time-related quote like this one. So let me read it to you. It's by Anais Nin. We do not grow absolutely, chronologically. We grow sometimes in one dimension and not in another, unevenly. We grow partially. We are relative. We are mature in one realm, childish in another. The past, present, and future mingle and pull us backward, forward, or fix us in the present. We are made up of layers, cells, constellations. So if you think like me about time in your day-to-day, if you need a simple and easy way to track your time and manage your expenses and invoices, so check out getharvest.com. It's an excellent tool for independent freelancers and creatives and small businesses, and it's run by wonderfully generous, kind humans. So we will be both sending you links to MPB and Get Harvest and Harvest in the follow-up email. Okay, another thing that I'm super duper excited about, and some of you have heard me talk about this, and it's our latest experiment. It's called clubs. What are clubs? Clubs are community-led, hyper-local, intimate gatherings around something you love. Who here has attended a club already here in New York City? Yes. Who here is a host? Yes, we love you so much. So just want to show you an example of one of the clubs that is really near and dear to our hearts. It's called Dumpling Discussions. It's run by Lenny. In this club, you make dumplings together, and then you talk about a predetermined topic afterwards while you eat them. I love it so much. So we started prototyping the idea for clubs within our community a few months ago, and we have 20 up and running. That means 20 clubs with recurring events, which means it's no longer just Friday mornings that you can tap into this community. It's on all kinds of days, weekends, evenings. And clubs have a heartbeat, they have a cadence, they offer depth of connection, and if you want to make new friends, look no further. It's a bona fide friend-making machine. And if you're thinking, oh, I probably missed it, like they've already started, no. If you want to join at any time, you can. 40% of the club attendees are first-time attendees. And I want to highlight a few clubs that are up and running. The Sun Your Buns Picnic Club has turned into Warm Your Buns Indoor Picnic Club, but they're still up and running. There's the Idealist Days with Matthew on our Livestream team. Make time, work on your creative projects. And then this one I love. Lover and Lovers of Love. And I urge you to check out the club's landing page. Currently, clubs are only in New York City, but we are going to expand them into different cities. And if you have you thought about maybe starting one? Just any one of you? Yes, I see some nodding. Just go for it and do it. Because last week, we actually gathered the club hosts at the Adobe offices. They invited us in, and it was a magical experience to hang out with other club hosts, and they were sharing their experiences. And seriously, if there's something you love and you want to gather your people around, it doesn't matter what it is. Pom-pom making, reading, volunteering, cooking, walking your dog, silently reading, whatever it is. It can be weird. I just go for it. Commit for a few months to do it and see where it takes you. Can you tell I'm really excited about it? Yes. All right. Ren is probably sweating bullets back there because I just keep talking. All right, so now we're getting to the main attraction of our event. This month's theme in our global ecosystem is threat. It was chosen by our Derby chapter in the United Kingdom and illustrated by Carla D. and is presented by Adobe. How excited am I to introduce Ren? Where's my mouse? There we go. Ren was formerly known as Mike, and I was introduced to Ren and their work through a very kind introduction by Gitika of Vava, who spoke here a few months ago. And Gitika was raving about Ren's outlook on life, their career, and their personal reinvention story. And once I started deep diving of Ren, I saw why. Ren's work is deeply impressive. Ren is a designer, an educator, and an activist based here in New York City, and formerly held the role as global head of design at RGA. Ren sees design as a positive transformational force that can drive business, shape culture, and improve lives. I do too. Much of Ren's work and activism centers around the climate crisis and promoting equal rights for the transgender community. I feel truly honored to have Ren here today, share the story with us, so give a super duper warm applause for Ren Rigby.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Oh, what a friendly bunch. It's very nice to meet you. So my name is Ren Rigby. My pronouns are they, them. And as Tina said, not so long ago, my name was Mike Rigby, and my pronouns were he, him. So I spent the last few years transitioning. So a bit of a glow up. And this, I guess you could say, is a bit of a reintroduction of sorts. And so please allow me to reintroduce myself. It's one of my first appearances in public as Ren, and I could not have chosen a better community Thank you. I feel in very safe hands, so thanks very much. So I had to choose my own name, bit of a hard brief. So a few reasons why I chose the name Ren. First of all, it's a Chinese Confucius word that means human and humane. So by choosing this name, I'm choosing to bring all of the threads of myself together into one whole person for the first time. Actually, Tina saw my deck last night and she went, wow, you've really gone for it with the threads theme. It's a great theme. Okay, Ren for me also is shorthand for an idea, which is a gender renaissance. And so the Renaissance is one of my favorite periods in history because, of course, it was very creative, but also it was a point in history where antiquated established norms were challenged. People got fed up, and society was dramatically reinvented and reborn in that moment. So Renaissance means rebirth. So this presentation is my own rebirth, and I guess the process I went through of reinvention. So as Tina said, I'm a designer. I founded a company with these wonderful people. It's called Proto. And a few of my favorite projects, so this is an incredible company out of MIT in Boston that have invented a solution to the climate crisis, a green chemistry that can replace the need for petrochemicals in all manufacturing. It's brilliant. So we had to create this business from scratch. We called them Evolved by Nature, and we created an evolving brand identity. So it's fashion evolved by nature, healthcare evolved by nature, etc. And to do this, we actually coded a typeface that was programmed to evolve. Pretty cool, isn't it? And so it's really clever. So wherever you put the asterisk, it automatically typesets itself and evolves. It was a real labor of love to do this. We had to create 14 different typefaces and then program it to work together seamlessly. And we did this so that they could show up in different industries, so they could be more expressive for high fashion and more sterile or straightforward in other industries. So it really just allowed them to make the most of the opportunity. It's a brilliant company. Chanel's the main investor. It's now in Chanel cashmere. It's in Nike shoes. So if you know anyone that makes anything, tell them to go to Evolved by Nature and visit my friends. Okay, just one more project. This is an ocean conservation charity called Project Zero. And so what they're trying to do is create more national parks in the sea. This is the old brands, and it was a little bit generic. So what we did was we worked on rebranding them. And actually, they've been working with the world's leading oceanographers, and they have hard data that shows the best chance of slowing climate change is actually by protecting the ocean. And so they had a goal of protecting 30% by 2030. The ocean is an incredible regulatory system. Most of the carbon dioxide is stored there. 50%, every second breath of oxygen comes from the ocean. But only 2% of it is protected, which is insane. And it's in really poor health. So let me just show you a video that we made. It's just a minute. So that's a new logo. It's cheeky. It's sneaky. It's a Z that's also a percentage sign, come on. At the end of the day, they had so much data, so a symbol that was mathematical made a lot of sense. And what we were doing here, we were trying to target government. So this wasn't really for us, it wasn't really for citizens. So we just needed a mark that could actually surface a lot of this data. If you want to get a government to do anything, you have to provide a lot of proof that it's going to work. And so that's what this was all about. We made as much content as we could, reports or campaigns, studies, and we just sent this and hammered it to governments all over the world. We also made the world's best swag. So we got these incredible, Vivian Westwood made some swag for us. Ronnie Wood, like a Rolling Stone, made a tote bag. Unbelievable. So this, we could apply public pressure by getting these incredible people involved with us. And it was a huge success. It actually worked. So after 10 years of trying, last year, this historic agreement was reached across the world to protect the ocean 2030. So some good news, of course, doesn't solve the problem, but we need to celebrate these wins when we get them. So before founding Proto, I worked with the CEO, the founder, the legendary Bob Greenberg, and he took me under his wing and taught me so much. And through Bob, I actually got to meet a lot of my design heroes, because Bob knows everybody. So I got to meet loads of people, including Dieter Rams. This one didn't go so well, though. So let me explain. So I was invited to the premiere of Dieter Rams, the movie, by Bob, because Bob was giving the opening speech. The problem was, earlier in that day, I was also enshrining my friend Sunil into the Advertising Hall of Fame, and this started at 11 a.m. And because it's advertising, it was a long day. As proof of how drunk I was, this is how I got there. I got there in a Times Square rickshaw. I wasn't anywhere near Times Square. I don't even know where I got this from. I virtually have no memory. They're the only 2 photographs I had of the evening. I just remember turning up at this premiere, and I was on a mission. I'm going to get a selfie with Dieter Rams. And the only thing I've got is my Instagram story. Dieter Rams hates me! Oh, my God. It's so embarrassing. Okay, so I met another one of my heroes who's now a dear friend, Debbie Millman. She's actually on the live stream, so hello, Debbie. And I was honored with an interview on the world's best podcast. We love this podcast. And Debbie asked me a question that really hit me hard.
I look at your career at The Chase or Pentagram or Interbrand or RGA. I don't see much rejection. What is the biggest rejection you faced?
So I dodged the question and I made it about projects that had failed. But the truth was, I'm going to answer that question right now. I was so afraid of rejection that I'd actually been living my entire life on someone else's terms. I was living someone else's life. I just couldn't imagine coming out because I thought if I came out as a trans person, I would lose my friends, my family, my job, everything. And that sounds dramatic, but that is the reality, sadly, for a lot of trans people. Thankfully, it wasn't for me, but at this point in my life, it all kind of just came crashing down. I'd launched 3 businesses in a row. I was burnt out. I spent so much time traveling, and I became really ill and actually severed the cranial nerve in my face, and I lost the ability to speak. So I had to take a lot of time off and relearn how to speak again. Thankfully, I am much better today, and I have wonderful friends and family and partner, and I feel content, like I have an inner peace for the first time in my life. Well, what I wanted to share today is, the journey and the process for that. And there was 2 things that I wanted to share that really helped me. The first thing is understanding the difference between change and transition. So change is situational, so something happens, whereas transition is psychological. So for instance, you might get a new job. And to really embrace that, you have to leave the old job and you have to go through a transition. A lot of your identity is still tied up in that old job. You might move from a student to a professional. That's a huge transition in life, isn't it? Or you might change crafts, as I have many times. Graphic design to experience design, multidisciplinary design. And it's never a straight line. It really is. Lots of missteps and loops. And of course, in my case, moving from ending relationship with myself and beginning a new one, and really moving from Mike Rigby to Ren Rigby. And you can get kind of stuck here and tangled in a knot. Still going with the threads. And you can kind of get lost here. I got lost here, arguably, for my entire life. And, it's a scary place to be, this transition zone, because you don't know what you're doing. And for me, I got lost there. I'd lost my curiosity. I'd lost my interest in things. And that was really scary. So for me to kind of rediscover and relearn what I loved, I used the second framework I'd like to share, which is from David Hyatt, which is 3 simple questions that you can ask yourself. So very simple, and that's the strength of it. What's your skill? What do you love? What does the world need? So the skill, pretty easy. I'm a designer, design and communication. But what do you love? It's actually really hard because I've fallen out of love with everything. All of my passions just felt like work, I didn't really feel anything. I think that's what depression is. It's not sadness, it's a lack of feeling. And so for me to rediscover and relearn what I loved, I actually went back to my childhood. So let's go back in time to young Michael Rigby. I do believe that as children we have an intuition around what we love. We don't need to be told or taught. We just go to it. We do it instinctively. So I think we can learn a lot by going back to our childhood. This is my best friend and my mum, Marlena Rigby. And I actually asked my mum, you know, what was I into when I was a kid? And this is the text message. It was like, Mum, what's the first thing of when you think of me as a child, hoping to learn something? She responded immediately, you had massive hands. Like, what? Also, that's the first thing. They were really big. Look at the size of those hands. Look at them. They're like adult-sized hands on a baby. Can someone take a picture of a massive hand next to the massive screen? Take a picture and just DM me at Ren Rigby. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You got it. Ren Rigby, thank you. Okay, so she said you're into art, you love nature, you really love plants and animals, but you also was really interested in ancient mythology, like particularly Egyptians, pharaohs, gods, and all those kinds of things. And I was actually rediscovering these and going back to these that really helped me in my healing journey. More on that later. So my career has actually been partly inspired by a near miss. So my mum was a brilliant writer, and she entered a national poetry competition when she was 11. She wrote a poem called Tales of the Sea, and she won. She won this competition. It was incredible. And she got to go to London to a Glitzy Awards ceremony, which was a big deal. This was in 1950. A friend of the family took her to the ceremony, but actually stopped to visit her boyfriend on the way there. And they got there so late, they missed the entire thing. And so she missed out, really, on that. And that always really stuck with me, you know? So I always wanted to kind of make the most of any opportunity I had, almost in her honor, really. And the worst part was she was actually bullied by her classmates who accused her of not writing it, you know? So it was just super sad. So this is me as a kid, pretty effeminate. I thought I was a girl. I was born a girl. I used to wear girls' clothes. I would kind of identify with girls in TV, films, books, etc. Until I was kind of shamed by adults in my life and told that that was not appropriate behavior for a little boy. And yeah, I don't hold any animosity about that. It was just the way it was back then. But I learned at this age that to be accepted, I would need to hide that part of myself. And I've been hiding it ever since. Until now. So I think the problem was that I couldn't see anybody like me at all in media. And so it took many years later, actually, when I moved to New York in 2014, I got off the plane, and the first magazine I saw on the newsstand was this, Time Cover. You know, and it was like the first portrayal, positive portrayal of a trans person I'd ever seen in modern media, in mainstream media. And I was like, wow, that's my life they're talking about there. A few years later, I saw this amazing lady, T.U. Glow. She's from our industry, speaking at the AIGA conference. And that changed my life. I was like, wow, a trans person, you can be on stage, you can have a successful career, and you can be openly trans, you know? And T's watching this, so I just want to say a huge thank you to T, because she really did change my life. The third thing is a project that was made at RGA at the time called Love Has No Labels. This was a really cool time to be at RGA because we had this fusion of design and technologists and really great storytelling people, ad writers and stuff come together to make really interesting work. And this was a campaign or a platform we created, two amazing creative minds called Chris North and Eric Yannon. And this was a brand, it's still doing great things today. So Love Has No Labels, Love Has No Race, Love Has No Gender. And I'll just share this pivotal piece of work and explain why in a second. It's just a short video.
I got a creak in my neck, limp in my step, cramping in my muscles every time I try to flex them. But I don't wanna get on. It's very sad, no more love. All that I can do was remember you. You know I usually say no, but if you throw me love, I'll throw you some more.
That's an awesome piece of work by a creative duo called Chris and Mike. And it was really interesting to take a kind of established heterosexual behavior and kind of subvert it in a way. But the reason I wanted to share it was I just found it so inspiring because these two incredible people here were survivors from the Orlando Pulse shooting. And so they'd literally been shot at. They'd seen their friends murdered in front of them. And they were still showing up and standing up for their people. And I was like, if I can't come out with my privilege, what the hell am I doing? So I was like, okay, so I quit. And I came out on National Trans Day of Visibility, and I decided I was going to go and follow that thread back to my childhood, to the things that I love. So I went down this really fascinating rabbit hole: nature, art, mythology, ancient Egypt. I went to some of the world's best archaeological sites, and I got into plant medicine and shamanism, and I traveled extensively. I actually went from the concrete jungle to the actual jungle. I went to the Amazon, and I worked with these beautiful, incredible people, the Kinibo-Shipibo tribe, and they basically protected their plant medicine, ayahuasca, which I'm sure you've heard of, for thousands of years. I got the honor of participating in 4 ceremonies, and this medicine saved my life. So with ayahuasca, you have incredible visions. I basically left my body and went to another plane of consciousness completely. Who's actually worked with ayahuasca here, out of interest? Oh, that's pretty good. Tina, put her hand up. Okay. So, I mean, it was beyond words. So anyway, so what happens with ayahuasca is you have what's called an ego death. And so it helps you bring to the surface some of the darkest parts of yourself and your deepest traumas, and it helps you let go of those things because they're not serving you. So in my case, I died 3 times. I was bitten to death by snakes. I had my ego pulled out of me like it was being ripped out of my bone marrow, and it was smashed to pieces, and then I was buried alive. If that sounds scary, it was way worse than it sounds. I thought I was dying. I really did think I was dying. And there's no escape. You can't escape. So if you're ever thinking about doing ayahuasca, please take it seriously and do your research. But for me, it did really change my life. And this was the death of a lot of things. I died 3 times because that was my pain, my shame, and my fear dying. And that allowed me to move forward. This was the death of Mike Rigby, which allowed me to be reborn as Ren. After this, I went home to spend some time with my mum. And you thought, you know what? I'm going to paint again. I hadn't painted in 30 years. What should I paint? Well, I'm going to paint a companion piece to my mum's poem, Tales of the Sea, Marlena Rigby, 1950. I'm going to paint Tales of the Sea, Mike Rigby, 2023. I'm going to put the painting and the poem together and get it framed. And then I organized a secret award ceremony in my mum's back garden with all of her friends. Her favorite place. And she finally got the award and the ceremony she deserved. "73 years later." And there you go. It's never too late to write a happier end to a sad story. And that brings us back to present day, really. And I'd like to, I guess, end with an introduction. So my name is Ren Rigby. This has been my gender renaissance. I died 3 times. You just went on that journey with me. I was reborn. And my version of Ren also means renegade. So just being alive and showing up every day as myself is an act of rebellion against those who choose to legislate against my right to exist. And that's why I chose David Bowie as my inspiration and Rebel Rebel. I've got to have a logo. I'm a graphic designer. And of course, Rebel Rebel's a song all about gender fluidity. Okay, final thoughts. So if you ever get lost, it's useful to retrace your steps. I don't think we ever really lose the thread of who we truly are on the inside. Go back to your childhood. Remember what you loved when you knew instinctively who you were. Follow those passions. Exactly. Aim for success on your own terms and build a life around what you value most. Decide that and do it now, today. I had success, but it was success without happiness, and that's not success at all. The final point is, don't leave it too late to be yourself. We need you. We need you, the real you. And so, thank you for being part of this, of my journey. Love you all. And keep in touch and collaborations. Ren Rigby Online. Thank you. supposed to
Mike.
stay here, right?
Oh, it's on. Questions? My mic is on.
I just want to first say, Ren,
Yes.
you are brave. And I admire you. And also, these are by far the most beautifully animated slides I have received from any speaker in 16 years. So thank you for that. All right, does anyone have a question for Ren? I see one back here.
Ren, thank you. Just echoing Tina's sentiment around being brave. It takes a lot to stand up there and do what you do, so thank you so much. How do we support trans issues? Where are organizations, where should we be going to support stories like yours?
So thank you for asking that question. One of my favorite organizations is called the Trans Law Center, and they do vital work. Actually, I'm raising funds for them at the moment. So I have a capsule collection out, which is a T-shirt and a print. It was actually some young designers back at RGA that launched this amazing initiative. It's called Merch Aid, so merchandise aid. And it was launched at the beginning of the pandemic to keep small businesses afloat by connecting artists with local businesses that couldn't make any money in the pandemic. And so we had this amazing outpouring of artists selling merchandise for these small businesses, and it kept hundreds of businesses afloat. It was amazing. Anyway, so now it's focused on issues, and so there's a whole collection about transgender rights. T. Huglo actually has made some stuff on there. So if you go to merchaid.com and have a look, and there's all kinds of other issues that initiative supports. All of the profits go to the Trans Law Center, and it doesn't cost them anything to participate. So, yeah. Thank you.
Raise your hand if you have a question, and the mic will come to you. Can you stand up and say your name?
Hi, I'm Neil Feldman of NOB Arts. You mentioned two things in your speak. You spoke about ayahuasca. For all of us in this room who have never even heard the word and have no clue what it is, if you could explain it. It seems like a psychedelic. That's probably wrong. Please explain it. And also, early on, you said something about a new material that's biodegradable. Are you making it in eatware utensils that are often thrown out and clog up the environmental waste stream? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Great question. Okay, it's ayahuasca, yes. So ayahuasca is, yes, it's a plant medicine, and it's originated with the Shipibo people. So it's actually two plants that work together. So ayahuasca. So one of them is called the vine of the dead, and it contains the most potent hallucinogenic we know of, which is DMT, dimethyltryptamine. The other plant contains a monooxidase inhibitor, which basically turns off the part of your gut that makes it possible to digest DMT, which means that you have this incredible 5-hour journey. And in my case, I completely went to a different plane of consciousness. It was like an ultraviolet pulsating jungle. And I was tied to the floor and I couldn't move, and I had these bejeweled lizards right inside of my body. And I met this gigantic deity, a blue deity, and she's called Mother Ayahuasca. And she, you know, everyone sees Mother Ayahuasca, and she basically changed my life. She gave me a right kick up the ass. And it was brutal, because you see the kind of like the worst parts of yourself, and it's like looking into the worst mirror. But ultimately, it all comes from a place of love. It really is a miracle. That medicine, yeah, but it's very serious business, so I wouldn't recommend it lightly. Another miracle is actually the evolved by nature. So what they do, they've actually patented a new molecule that they own that they derived from organic silk, and so they make a liquid from it, which can replace petrochemicals. It's completely biocompatible and sustainable, and you can apply it to any manufacturing process by swapping out the harmful chemistry with this new green chemistry. So they're in skincare, they're in cosmetics, they're in fashion, and so Nike use it to treat their leather, Chanel use it to finish their cashmere. So anything that you're wearing right now is treated with chemicals. So especially if it has a performance benefit like anti-wicking, anti-pilling, etc. And so what Evolved by Nature have created is this green chemistry that can replace all that harmful stuff. And there's no downside to it. And they're an amazing company. I love them so much. So please recommend those to anyone you know that makes anything.
Hey, Ren. Hello. What an incredible human being. And ayahuasca is a trip. So I think a lot of people don't talk about death of identity enough. Do you have any advice for this community in terms of how they open up the conversation, whether it's their career, relationships, sexuality? I think our generation is going through so many deaths of identity. How do you open up that conversation with your community? Do you have any advice on that?
Yeah, I think as I was saying about the transition is really hard because it's about, letting go. And I think that really is hard. I think that what the process that I went through was really understanding what were the kind of self-limiting beliefs that I was holding on to. I had a lot of shame. I was so ashamed of not coming out because I had privilege, And I think that I had to go through a process to really let go of that and do the work to find self-acceptance. And, that's the intent that I went to with ayahuasca, self-acceptance. And I asked to see my pain, my shame, and my fear. And she showed me. And, and it helped me let go. So that's a very extreme way of moving on and moving past those things. But I think you can do it another way, meditation, breath work. There's all kinds of ways you can get to the same point. But ultimately, I think it's letting go of things that don't serve you. And that'll allow you to move forward.
Hi, Ren. My name's Lila. Thank you for sharing your story with us. You've talked a lot about the death part of the ayahuasca journey and death of ego, and I wanted to know if there were any core parts of yourself that traveled through that journey with you and still, live inside of you, because I think a lot about, ego death, and it's like, what is the true self, and what parts do we want to bring along?
Wow, what an amazing question. I've got a bit of a profound answer, but it's quite long, but I'll try and speed it up. Okay, so I think there's three parts of me that I identified. First of all, there's what I would call Rigby, which is basically my kind of industry work persona. It's where I'm more confident, skew more male, and this kind of energetic leader type person. Then there's another part of me, which is the child part of me that I call little Michael, that you just saw there. And that part of me is just curious and fun, but also afraid of a lot of things. And then there's Ren, which is the feminine part of me that's kind of kind and encouraging and creative. And I actually realized after a while that, wow, that's kind of like the Trinity. So I have Rigby, the father, Michael, the son, and Ren, the spirit. And, that was kind of a really interesting thought that helped me understand the different parts of me. So if I have a thought now, I'm like, where's that coming from? Is it Michael? Is it Rigby? Is it Ren? And I actually encourage those three things to work together because I think there's no bad part of you. And I think that's a mistake we often make is that, oh, that's a bad part. No, it's not. It's actually loving every part of you. And I think that's perhaps what enlightenment is. It's shining a light on the darkest parts of you and bringing them to the surface and understanding yourself as a whole person, the light and the dark. And those are things that help me.
Hi, my name is Marie. I would like to ask you a question about your work and how does your transition journey has impact your work and your approach of your work as a designer?
Good question. Well, there is a very direct connection between what I've been searching for and what I do for a living, which is identity. So I would describe myself as an identity designer. And so I take tremendous satisfaction in helping companies that I believe in find their best selves. And I've obviously been on the same journey to find my best self. And so there's a real complete direct, that didn't dawn on me until fairly recently, where I was like, oh my God, I'm an identity designer. And I was like, wow, no wonder I'm kind of so obsessed with this.
Good morning. Thank you, Ren. Hi, darling. My name is Melissa Faith. My first time here, I'm getting my cherry pop, so I'm so grateful that I'm here with you. I'm a shaman as well, a shamanic priestess and a sex alchemy coach. And my journey has been over in Egypt. I was called by Isis to really bring forth the healing of the divine union within and without. So the conversation is really bringing harmony to the masculine and feminine, within and without, yeah? So how am I able to be of service to the transgender community with that conversation? Yeah.
Well, I think you said something really interesting, which is the both and accepting both. So one of the most profound things I experienced during ayahuasca was I was laying on the ground. I was on the White Cliffs of Dover, and I was pulled outside of my body, which was still lying on the floor. And I heard a voice say to me that you were born with two spirits inside of you, male and female. And she lit up this side of me, the feminine side, and it was this beautiful park scene of women working together and sisterhood and kindness. And then she lit up the male side of me, and for me, it was like this derelict landscape. It was like Armageddon. And she said, I'm in a lot of pain, and perhaps men in general, because we're taught that we can't have access to any of that gentleness, that kindness. And just by you being yourself, you're bringing both sides together and showing people a different way to be feminine and a different way to be male. And that, just that framing and that visualizing really, really helps me.
That's beautiful. Okay, so the 30-second pictures, please come up front, and we'll do one more question. Is there one more question in the audience? Right here. Okay, but 30-second pictures, please come to Exa, right here. Did somebody raise their hand somewhere around here? I think so.
Me. Hi, Ren. I'm Mary. Thank you so much for that wonderful speech. So exciting to talk about gender and fluidity and how we can all kind of come into ourselves. I'm curious a little bit about, not a little bit, I mean, honestly, I'm like very concerned about the climate situation. And I'm wondering, talking about trinities, we're all humans and creators and consumers. Do you have any suggestions for how we could be more influential or more helpful in that?
Well, I think just maintaining hope, because hopelessness serves no one. I think one of the amazing stories about the founder of Evolved by Nature is Greg, his name is, and his partner, Rebecca, is an incredible person. She's one of the world's leading thinkers on plastics pollution, and she's a PhD scientist, and she writes on plastics pollution. Her father was one of the pioneers of the plastics industry, and the first person to create 1 billion pounds of plastic in a year. And what Rebecca has done is surfaced archival footage of old conferences from the plastics industry. And basically, there was a conference where the person on the stage said, to drive sales, we need to teach people how to waste. We need to teach a new behavior, which is single-use plastics. And plastics could have taken a very different direction, but it was deliberately built around single-use to drive sales. And basically, they changed society. This was wide-scale, systematic change. And they did that through advertising and design. So that sounds like a negative story, but I actually take tremendous hope from it, because, you know, if the plastics industry can reinvent culture, then we can damn well do it. And so I do think we have incredible tools, incredible resources, and I think just stay hopeful, and let's back and find things like Evolved by Nature that we can actually help share and get more people to use it, and that's what gives me hope.
Can we give Ren another round of applause? Thank you. And now we have our 30-second pitches.
Hi, my name is Courtney Casey. Who loves research? Who would love to take best practices and share them across all different kinds of artistic disciplines? Okay, so if you love research and love artistic disciplines and work for Performing Arts Center, opera, symphonies, visual arts center, galleries, or any kinds of museums, please contact me. We are looking for people who are interested in sharing best practices in their work so then we can share them across different sectors. I work for the Advisory Board for the Arts. I highly recommend y'all look into it. It's the largest shared networking platform in the cultural sector, so please check me out. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Daryl Thorne. Ren, that was beautiful and inspiring. I'm nervous. This is my first time here. I put my name down. Basically, I'm a designer, performer, performance artist, costume designer, makeup artist, and I've had 10-year career working for myself, doing events and creating like spectacular moments of joy and inspiration. And what I really am looking for are people who are collaborators in the world of film or galleries or public art, because I want to take my talent, which has been kind of for wealthy people who can have me at their private parties, and I want to move it into spaces of film, theater, public art. So I put my website on my contact. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Christine Wong. You can find me on Instagram at Conscious Cooking, and I'm here to celebrate my new cookbook with you. It's my love letter to Hong Kong, which has been home to my family for 4 generations, and it celebrates all the East meets West food, that, but everything is plant-based. And so I'm here looking for collaborations. If you want to do events with me, I can do pop-ups or teach cooking classes or anything like that. Also to promote the book, and buy the book for the holidays. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Emily. I am looking for a kind partner, a man to give me some healthy smooches, but I also am the founder of journaling classes. We started in Washington Square Park, and now I've been able to put pen to paper with over 10,000 people. And so I am here to invite you into my community and also pitch myself to bring the power of pen to paper, play, joy, creativity to your workspace, your friend groups, and to invite you in to be part of this special space. And I'm so happy to be here, and I hope to connect with you soon. I also do florals. We do flower therapy. People tell me how they feel or what they want to feel, and I make arrangements based off of that. So I would love to bring that to your spaces. Thank you.
Did you just... Hello? Hello. Did you just start a pen to paper club? Yes. She said yes.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yes, there we go. All right, so thank you all your 30-second pictures. All of their information will be in the follow-up email. We're writing it all down for you. I want to say thank you to our incredible volunteer team. Without them, we could not host these events, and they would not go this smoothly. So thank you, Alicia, Amanda, Angelica, Brian, Caitlin, Casey, Christina, Danielle, Emeka, Emily, Exa, Krista, Lena, Maria, Mary, Megan, Meredith, Oriana, Cece, and Sky. Thanks to Nelson, you can see how good you look because he takes incredible photos. Thanks to Connie, you can watch this talk and share it with other people afterwards. And then thanks to our live stream team, all of our live stream folks can actually watch these events. Thank you, Kevin, Isabel, Eleanor, Jonah, Leanna, Octavia, for making today's live stream happen. I also want to give a huge shout out to Kevin, who is the mastermind of the live stream, who landed at JFK at 6:30, got in a cab, and came here. He just flew in from India. So he's a legend for being here and doing this event today. And all of these folks are for hire, by the way, photographers, videographers, and they're so reliable and upbeat and wonderful to work with. Their information is also in the follow-up email. Next month, get ready. Are you ready for this? Debbie Millman is interviewing Seth Godin on Thursday, December 5th. Just mark that, it's not a mistake. We're going to be at the SWA Theater. Debbie is closing out the year again with a live recording of her beautiful podcast, Design Matters. We're so excited for this conversation. And then, as always, I'm going to leave you with a quote. This one is by Richard Rorty. A talent for speaking differently rather than for arguing well, is the chief instrument of cultural change. So now I let you go. Please have some more coffee. There's leftover. There's some more food. Linger a teeny bit before they kick us out. And I just want to thank L'Alliance, the entire team. I hope they can hear me. Violaine, Clementine, Louise, Bader, and team Will, Keith, AV, the whole team here. You have been wonderful to us, extremely generous. It's been personally a highlight to bring Creative Mornings to L'Alliance, and just thank you for having us. And see you next month.